Welcome back YouTube, this is Pep, you're watching The Sentinel, and yes, it's that time of the month again when I talk about my most worn fragrances for the preceding month, and that is September. I have a couple of fragrances to mention in terms of the ones that I wore a couple of times, but I did try a bunch of new fragrances as well, so I'll be talking about those and just giving you my initial thoughts, given that I've only worn them for the first time in the last month. But I did try a bunch of new ones, a couple I didn't expect to try, and particularly the one that I'm going to name as my most worn I didn't expect either, but there was a particular reason for that. So let's do this. The two most worn fragrances for me this month, being September, were Elephant, and mainly because I wore that, in testing it for the review I've done, and I'll put a link to that video down below or up here somewhere. And just briefly, my thoughts from that review: it's beautiful. This fragrance has got three distinct stages. There's a lovely green lush opening, turning into this kind of milky tropical flowery heart, and finally into this nice dry ambery sandalwood musk base. And every stage of its development is really nice, and zoologists have got another winner here on their hands. The second most worn fragrance for me is this little known one from a company called Creed called Aventus. Now, I want to be clear, and I have said this before, I like Aventus. I think it's a nice fragrance. It's not, for me, it's not what some people hype it up to be, but I had a very interesting experience when I wore it, and which prompted me to wear it a few more times during the month. And that was, I actually had intentions of using up my little decant. I have no idea what batch it's from. I mean, to me, that's a little bit ridiculous that you have to worry about what batch a particular fragrance is, but that's beside the point. So I sprayed it. As always, I found that the pleasant smell, I still just in my mind cannot work out what makes this so special. And what I realised with Aventus is that I clearly become very anosmic to it, a couple of hours in. So, you could be mistaken for thinking that on me it lasts a couple of hours, but I really stop smelling it unless I really dig into my skin with my nose and try and pick something up. However, the reason I was prompted to wear it again was that I had an interesting experience in that I was at home. There was a knock on my door, and it was just someone going from house to house trying to sell something. I can't even remember what it was, but this was after about 6 hours of having it on. I opened the door, and this person, and I will mention it was a guy, and I will also mention that the only people who have ever commented on this Aventus on me have been guys. So make of that what you will. As soon as I opened the door, his reaction was, wow, that smells fantastic. Like he'd been hit by this wave of scent. So I certainly didn't overspray it, but it obviously projects very well and has some effect on some noses, clearly. So that was my little interesting story about my wearing of Aventus. I've since ordered a little bit more, a bigger decant, and I'm told from the person I buy my decants from that this batch that I'm getting, I have no idea what the number is a slightly smokier one. I think the one I had was reasonably fruity, so it's going to be interesting at least to see how much difference there is. So that was my most worn for the month. Now I'll just quickly go through some of the new fragrances I've tried. So the first one I'm going to mention is one that I got in a swap with someone I've met through Facebook. I gave them one of my fragrances that I no longer wanted, and they kindly gave me this. This is new Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. Opens up like this. It is lovely, spicy, you get a lot of cardamom. There is quite a bit of sweetness to it. Now, I think this came out in Tom Ford era Yves Saint Laurent days. It was marketed as a women's fragrance, but I really quite enjoyed wearing this one. And given that it's going to start getting warmer here, I might have to wait till our next cold season to give it some heavier wearing. But it's actually really nice. I don't mind it. It's quite a nice cozy scent. I think it's discontinued now, and it's a cute little bottle. So that's new from Yves Saint Laurent. The other one I wore for the first time because we had a couple of days where it got a little bit warmer. Was Aqua Fahrenheit. Just off the top of my head, because I haven't taken notes on the wearing of it, but I really enjoyed this. I get quite a bit of the original Fahrenheit DNA here, but it is certainly lightened up with citruses at the top, and it's a really good flanker, I find, and I think this is one of those ones that it's going to be excellent in very warm weather. Going back to the House of Zoologist, apart from trying Elephant and doing a review on that, I also wore the following for the first time last month in September. That was Civet, which I really liked. Clearly there's Civet in there, but it is certainly not, reading the name of this fragrance is not what you would expect when you wear it. It's actually really lovely, fresh kind of fragrances, nice citruses and spices in there, but I will eventually get around to doing a review of Civet. The other one which was really good was Bat by Zoologist again. This is quite a unique one. It's, you know, really as accurately as I can portray it in a few words, it's damp earth and sweet ripe fruit, but it works, and I think it's wearable. I don't think it's anything challenging in that people would be put off by it, but it's certainly different. Macaque I wore just recently for the first time, and I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I get a very bright kind of green opening, and I'm not sure if that's the green apple note there. I know there's galbanum in there, which can give like a very green. I need to wear this again to really get a true gauge on how I feel about it. And I kind of feel the same way about Beaver as well. I found that this one wore quite lightly on my skin, and it was really hard to get to pinpoint. This is a new formulation of Beaver, or the latest one. There's certainly, what I remember about wearing this fragrance is you do certainly get that vibe of fresh air around fresh water. So it's really, it really does capture the kind of environment you might find of a fresh river, you know, surrounded by forest, and that kind of feel about it, and it kind of wears like that on your skin. It's a bit of an ephemeral kind of feel on the skin. It comes and goes, but I did like it. I just need to wear it a bit more to get to know it a bit better. And finally, what is probably so far my favorite from this house, that is Rhino. It's the rum, it's the leather, it's all those nice heavy notes that I usually like. There is tobacco, sandalwood, amber, musks, extensive note list, but Rhino Rhinoceros is so far my favourite from the zoologist's house. And so just quickly, I will go through other fragrances and a quick word about how I felt about them. I tried Bergamot 32 from Le Labo for the first time, and it's a fantastically nice, bright bergamot vetiver, and fantastic performance for that type of citrus fragrance. Also had a small sample of Month Fresh from Healy. Now it's a very realistic, to me it was a very realistic mint, green tea as well, and it was a refreshing scent, but and there's certainly nothing bad about how it smelled. I don't think a mint fragrance is something that I could find myself wearing. I just was a bit nonplussed about it. Also tried my little bottle of 1899 by Histoire de Parfum. Beautiful, spicy cinnamon. It gets compared to Spice Bomb a lot, but this, in terms of the quality of how the ingredients smell in this, is at another level compared to Spice Bomb. I tried Naxos from Xerjov. Lovely, again, quality honey tobacco fragrance. I mean, just describing it like that's not really doing it justice, but it does live up to the high praise that it gets. And the other two I tried were a small sample of Windwood from Mancera, and there was something quite sour, that some note on there that went quite sour in my skin that I didn't enjoy. So that was one that was a bit of a thumbs down for me. I mean, you know, I love Mancera's Cedrat Boissé, but this one I was excited to try because it was another Mancera, and unfortunately it didn't work. And finally, the other fragrance that I didn't bring a bottle with me of was Kouros Tonic Eau de Toilette. This is kind of it was Kouros flanker, a fresher style, more citrus, and again, like the Aqua Fahrenheit, this is a very good flanker as well. I don't even know if it's still in production, but again, you do get some Kouros DNA, and it's lightened up with quite a bit of citrus, and very good in the warmer weather. That's pretty much it for the month of September, and in that month I also said goodbye to some fragrances, so I will leave you with this touching tribute, and I'll see you next time.